What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be discussing the top 5 things that I like and I dislike about my 2011 Nismo 370z. So starting with the 5 things that I like about it, I figured let's start off on a good note. Number 1 has definitely got to be the sound. This VQ37 VHR sounds so freaking good, revving all the way up to the factory headline being at 7,500 RPMs, but mine does go to 7,800. Some people go closer to 8. Either way, it sounds beautiful screaming up there, especially when paired with a beautiful exhaust. Mine in particular has the ISR long tube headers, and I have a custom Hall built performance single exit, which involves having dual resonated Y pipe and then a Helmholtz right down here to help with the drone. It is a full 3-inch stainless system. Now, I do believe it would sound better if I had a titanium catback instead. That's on the to-do list, so stay tuned for down the line when we get that done. However, this thing sounds really good. I would give you guys some sound clips right now, but I do have a little bit of an exhaust leak. But lucky for you guys, I do have a whole dedicated video of just full exhaust, nothing but the noise, inside the cabin, cold starts, ripping through the gears, all the above. Check it out, I'll leave it in the description below. And it's all thanks to this engine right here. This is one of the best all-motor V6s Nissan has ever made. These platforms, they accept power really well, and they just deliver a really nice linear smooth power band. We're going to elaborate on that a little bit, but again, I do have some 3-inch intakes on here, and it's tuned by Z1, so I think the tune and having all the modifications done does play a big role in the audio of this guy for sure. Most of that being though what you do to the exhaust setup, because there's a lot of combinations out there and it depends on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're going for single exit, dual exit, are you going full loud straight pipe boys, or are you going to try to tame it down a bit with some resonators and mufflers? But the sound out of the 370Z, in my personal opinion, it's one of the best sounding cars. And number 2 on the list has got to be the driving experience. The way this thing handles the turns, the way it just drives on the street, nice and stiff, but not too terrible to where you can't really street it anymore. I mean, it's just everything I wanted out of this car. I had a 350Z before, and then this is my first Nismo, let alone having the aftermarket lowering springs and spacers with fresh tires around here. But yeah, this thing is a beautiful car to drive, not even just around the turns and everything, because even in a straight line, having the nicer clutch setup and the full bolt-ons and a tune, I mean, it's super fun rolling gears in this car. Not the fastest thing in the world, but it sounds great, and it gives you a great experience doing so. But definitely around the twisties and turns, staying in the power band, and just being able to point and shoot where you got to go with that steering input. I mean, it's just fantastic. I'll give you guys an idea what we look like in the cabin here. The way you just have the RPMs sitting right in front of you, super easy to read. You get to know what gear you're in right below, and then you got your speedometer over here. Just very simple information, not super overwhelming. And I love the analog dashboards over the digital displays. Something about it is just much more raw. And then of course you got the shifter right here. Ideally you have the clutch pedal down here, and yeah, I mean, it's a nice short throw shifter. This is fully OEM in stock, and it just feels good. I wouldn't really change it. I know you can do short throw shifters. I've had one before. It's just not my thing. I like the OEM placement. It's really notchy and just goes really in gear really good. No complaints. If you guys want to see me ripping the Z around a ton, I use the GoPro right here all the time with point of view clips. So honestly, basically in every one of my videos, if you check them out, there's definitely some POV involved. Some of them are more obvious with the thumbnails and all that kind of stuff. But if you want to get an idea what it's like to drive this thing from point of view, I have a full ASMR styled video as well that I can link right below. Definitely check that out. That was a lot of fun to make. All right, and the third thing I like about the 370Z, especially the Nismo, has got to be the power. Now, I know what I just said earlier is not a numbers queen, right? It's just an all-motor V6. It's a 3.7 liter. However, the power delivery is beautiful on here. The way the power just comes on this platform with an NA V6, it's just so perfect. Like, you have all the predictability in the world, which is really good when you're taking turns and you want to be spirited driving. You don't get that random punch of, you know, torque from like a turbo or something like that, or the unpredictability in that as well. And then likewise, the power carries on very linear and smooth. So from like 6K RPMs to like my red line at 7,800, I have basically full peak horsepower. Sure, torque's like falling off little by little, but the way this thing just pulls top end, and has a very nice top end, by the way, I just love it. It's just something about revving really high and having an all motor. You don't sacrifice the sound, and you get super reliable performance. That being said, about the performance, we're gonna get into that, about the 5 things I don't like about that, but there are ways to make sure it is reliable and enjoys all the beating you throw at these kind of cars. So yeah, definitely the power, super nice for an all-motor V6, and they love boost. You can throw a single turbo on here, you could throw a air-to-air supercharger kit on here, and as long as you got the right amount of fueling and good exhaust, especially the cooling, good clutch if you're a manual, these things will just take it all day. I mean, you can make 600-700 horsepower out of the stock block on these things pretty much all day long. And then if you want to go faster than that, you know, God bless you. I mean, this car is very light, so I don't know how much faster you really want to go unless you're breaking records and you need to be the fastest guy out there. Personally, I lean more towards supercharger route because, like I said, I like the linear power band and the drivability of a predictable power like that. So that's kind of the route I'm headed to next. It is all prepped for that. But yes, all motor V6 makes some good power. About mid 300 wheel, like you could expect anywhere from 320 to 350 horsepower typically out of these to the wheels, depending on your mods. And then typically I would say like 265 to 295 torque, same thing, kind of depending on your mods. And that's all motor. So it doesn't take a whole lot to achieve that. You just got to do like headers, exhaust, intakes, tune it up, pretty much good to go. If you want to mess with the fueling and do your injectors in a fuel pump, totally cool. Ideally, you're prepping for boost for that. But yeah, that's what it is. Number 3, power. On to number 4. It has to be the looks. To me, the version 1 Nismo 370z just looks the best out of all Z's made, period. 2015 pluses, they are cool. Like you get the nice updated, you know, newer headlights. You get the lip or whatever. If you like red, you like red. Personally, the V1 Nismo wing is my favorite. Even the V1 Nismo rear bumper I think I like it better, mostly because it works when you do the single exit look versus the other one kind of makes you have to stick with the dual exhaust because of the way the bumper is in the back. I don't dislike the rear bumper on the 2015, but I like how this one, similar to like the 2007 and 2008 350Z Nismos, they just look more like a classic old school JDM sports car versus the 15s and pluses. They just look a little too new for me. This one just gets away with like that classic look a little bit more. And yeah, I mean, just the car itself, I mean, it just looks like a race car, does it not? I mean, it sits low. It's got a very aggressive front bumper that pokes out with an all OEM lip. You got some nice side profile here. Let me make sure you guys can see it all. And then you got the rear with the big wing, kind of just comes down like that. Fat diffuser on the back. Of course, I already added the exhaust. I mean, this car just looks mean from no matter what angle you look at it from. And then especially with the Nismo badging, just to remind everybody, you're different, you're special. Nismo on the seats. And if people forgot under the hood, we get that under the hood as well. But I think the looks of this car, 10 out of 10, wouldn't change a thing. However, I'm more of an OEM Plus guy. You can see the direction I'm already going. We do plan on doing carbon fiber hood and fenders to add more aggressiveness to the car, and I do want to wrap the whole car. So hint hint, there's a color on the car that the wrap would already be, but I do want to do a lot of carbon accents on here and turn it into a more like GT3 style car, because that is my dream car. I do want a Porsche GT3 very, very bad. And last but not least, number 5 of things I love about the Nismo 370z, it's got to be the Rarity. Honestly, it's super cool to be able to own a car that has a number plaque on it. If you guys forget, every version 1 Nismo and 350Z Nismo, they come with the plaque right there that tells you what number yours was off the production line. And it's not just the plaque that makes it cool. This will go for all Nismos now, minus the numbering portion, which is still the focus of why we like this kind of car. But all the Nismos come with the custom body kit. They do come with custom suspension. They got the Nismo stitching on the seats, the engine bay cover, and then even the tachometer here has the Nismo stuff going on here. I may have missed some small bits and pieces. Oh yeah, you get like a carbon fiber drive shaft and probably a couple other little goodies here and there. But owning a Nismo, it's just super cool to know that your car was taken off the production line and like hand built, so to speak, or at least touched in some sort of way with all the stuff we just kind of went over there. So I like the exclusivity factor and the rarity factor. I do believe these will be a nice collector's item someday. Arguably already are and on their way there. That being said, it's the last all-motor V6 that Nissan's gonna make in a manual with a number on it. So, I mean, ultimately it'd be cool to have the 2014, the last like final edition one, we'll call it. But I mean, they're really all the same thing. So I really enjoy that. And that'll be the top 5 things I like about it. So now we're gonna head into the top 5 things I dislike about it. which is a very short list and it took me a second to come up with, but I'm sure we'll be able to knock them out quick because I mean, obviously I love this car, but there are 5 little little things that could be improved. Before we get into the 5 things I dislike about the vehicle, please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. I really appreciate all the love and support on my content. I've been blowing up on Instagram recently, just posting reel after reel, and just trying to grow the engagement over there. But YouTube, it takes a little bit more work and time to like clean the car up, get the camera out, edit the videos, think them through, come up with ideas. So I really appreciate all the comments and the love and support. I want to grow the page with you guys and keep documenting my builds at a higher level, get better at editing and all the above like that. But that being said, let's get right into it. First and foremost, the number one thing I dislike about the Z, it's the visibility in here, okay? And it's not out the front, so I'm not gonna close the hood. I'm not worried about that. What sucks is these damn mirrors, you just can't see anything out of them, okay? Like, a little bit, especially if you're like doing the whole like, whatever move. But like, as soon as you get past this B-pillar here, like these windows back here, they don't work for nothing. Especially that one over there, unless you're like trying to lean over, but like if you have a passenger and they scoot it back, like good luck. Basically over there, it's, if you're trying to merge to the right, it's like, watch out everybody else, I'm doing it, and just go, you know? But yeah, it is what it is. I mean, they make mirrors that have a blue light filter and wide lens. Probably gonna do that next season. But like I said, there's things I don't like about it, but they're pretty simple and easy to fix, which I have fixed a few of them on this list already, so we're gonna go over that. But number one is the visibility. The blind spots aren't that great. You can't really see out of these little quarter panel windows, and the mirrors themselves, they're just eh. So that's number one. All right, and number 2 on this list, it's gotta be the seats. They're not honestly all that terrible. Like, I get the point. They're not electronically adjustable, which I actually do prefer anyways. I think they're kind of really slow and it's annoying when they're not manual almost. But like, I even had an 03 350Z Touring, which I get it, it's in the name. The Touring is a little more or less track focused and whatnot. And that had like heated seats, electronic controls and everything like that, but this doesn't even have heated seats. It's not electronic controlled. It's not even leather, you know? So again, can be fixed. You can get the 2015 plus seats, but no one's spending 10 grand for the pair of those brand new. And even used 4 or 5 grand or whatever they go for. That's a pretty penny for some seats. You know, it might happen down the line because you got to do it. I feel like the upholstery's a little better and the looks are a little better. But small complaint. Like I said, it's gonna be a tough one to come up with reasons not to love this thing. But I would give number 2 to the seats. All right, number 3 is super easy. It's the clutch. Okay, now I do have an aftermarket clutch. It's the Z1 6-puck with the lightweight flywheel. Blah blah blah. OEM clutch, complete garbage. Terrible engagement. Very very soft. It's prone to go bad in like pretty early on, or depends how hot you run it all the time, but the slave cylinder in these fails. So that was the first thing I did. I upgraded the slave cylinder to a heavy duty, got the full Z1 clutch kit and the lightweight flywheel, all the upgrades and goodies. However, the pedal itself, it still sucks. I mean, the engagement is such a small modulating zone that you're so lucky to like get a good smooth shift in if you focus way too hard, and going in reverse or just like low speeds in this thing, it's gonna be very jittery and not the smoothest thing ever. Now again, there is a fix for it. I actually haven't done this fix just yet. That'll probably be next year. But they make an RJM clutch pedal that supposedly handles all of that. Adjusts the modulating zone, decreases the throw distance. I didn't mention that, but I don't like the entire throw distance. It's a lot of play that's not really useful. And the bite point as well, so you can adjust that. But the bite point on here, again, same thing, stock clutch pedal. The bite point is a little higher up than I would like, and it's very small. So I wanna mess with that when I get that new pedal, and we'll let you know. So stay tuned to when I take care of that clutch pedal next season. All right, and number 4 is gotta be the storage. So when it comes to storage back here, it is a hatchback design. So the whole hatch goes up with the glass and everything, and it comes down. So you don't have a lot of height per se, really. The subwoofer and a little taller is all we got. But even if the subwoofer wasn't in here, it's not that bad, I suppose. Like, you probably get a couple gear bags in here. But overall, you gotta really be careful about what you're going to get. Like, you're not gonna be able to fit like bigger than a 32-inch, 40-inch TV in here or something like that, or a significant amount of groceries, especially if you have the sub like we said back here. But that being said, there's a couple other more like nooks and crevices you can get stuff in. So behind the seats, you got a couple little cubbies back here. Again, nothing too crazy. I usually put some speakers and towels back here, or cleaning supplies and whatnot. And then in the doors, oh, of course I locked myself out. Hold up, we got it. In the doors themselves on both sides, you get a cup holder big enough for like barely a normal water bottle, and then you get the little cubby down here that you can maybe fit like a few Twinkies in there or something like that. Shout out to Rady's Rides for that joke. And then these come with dead buttons here, but I aftermarket replaced them with a coin holder, because if you had a tech package, it'd probably control some stuff. But yeah, otherwise you get a little cup holder, a little storage in there, tiny little glove box. Literally can't fit anything in there. So, but I mean, that's pretty much it, guys. You can't really take a whole lot of things in here, especially if you have a passenger. So it is what it is. I don't think anyone's buying this thing worried about that. But like I said, I had to come up with something on the list about what we don't like about it. And it's not super practical, but it is what it is, you know? All right, and number 5, the last thing I dislike about 370Zs is their headlights and taillights together. Now, obviously on mine, we already took care of that. We did the Morimoto taillights. They grew on me a ton. I think they're gonna look better when the car's a different color, and the same goes for the headlights. I did the Morimoto headlights as well. Same thing. I think they'll look a little better when the car's colored, because it looks cool all blacked out, but I feel like they hide too much. That's just me. But OEM headlights and taillights on these, including even the 15 Plus when they updated the headlights a little more with the blacked out housing, or maybe that was 18 Plus, sorry. And then the taillights, I don't really know if they ever really honestly made an adjustment to those, but they just date the car. They don't have LED lights. They're still amber, you know, bulbs that light up and down. And yeah, they just look old, you know. All the new stuff is going with the jewel eye style headlights, like, you know, working at Acura, that's what we have, or all the Audis and I don't know, all the cool stuff to me, like Lexus and stuff. They have the nicer headlights like that. So that was the first thing I had to do to this, to update and refresh the look on there. And then the taillights, I mean, they're just kind of, they don't do it for me. They're just kind of basic. I needed more LED-ness to them, and I wanted LED backup camera, or LED reverse lights, sorry. So yeah, I mean, that's it. Like I said, I already kind of took care of it. And that last one I really had to throw in there because I couldn't think of something. But that's got to be it for me. Headlights and taillights, simple replacements, plug and play if you do that, or if you're the kind that can open them up and do the custom stuff, good for you. I'm a little nervous with that, and I don't like the fogginess that could happen. But it is what it is. I mean, I've seen some pretty cool aftermarket stuff done to these, some one-of-ones. But yeah, I just think the easier route, let's grab some aftermarket stuff, plug and play, call it a day. I believe that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys as always for watching. Please be sure to comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And follow all my social medias. I do post on Instagram, on TikTok, on Snapchat. They're all going to be linked in the description below. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.